Hello and welcome to Railway Cottage Studio. This is Karen. I am working away on the first prompt for my Railway Cottage Anthology series, which is Through the Garden Gate. So I have constructed my little garden gate, as you can see, and I've literally just screwed on my gate now. And look how cute it is. I ended up making a little handle just from a bit of wire, which I've super glued on. So I'm hoping that that stands the distance. So what I'm doing now is actually creating the vines that are growing up over my arbor. So I'm using just some tea-dyed trim that I have, because this is a very, very mixed media piece. It's going to be aged and probably faded, but not so much too grungy. So we're imagining we're at a vintage cottage in the past, an old railway cottage, and this is the entry to the garden gate. So I imagine the vines all overgrown and growing over the top of each other, and I have modelled it on my own garden gate. So I have got a little sign that I've started to make, which goes here, which is a little railway cottage sign. So that's just drying at the moment. I've just cut that out of a bit of book cover that was left. So what I'm doing now is I'm just twisting this up and over, and I'm using this glue. I went yesterday to get some different glues that I think would be more successful with all the different media that I'm using. So this little guy is pretty good with most things. And then I've got this one as well. These were both on sale at Spotlight. Gotta love Spotlight. So what I've done is I've literally just put some blobs, and I'm attaching this so it's all up and over and growing. The peg's just holding that little bit in place. I might leave him there for a minute. And I'm adding a little bit of glue front and back, because you will see both sides of this piece when you open it. So I'm up to here. This is my bit of brown trim. And I don't want it balanced. I want it chunky and messy and gorgeous. You can imagine that this is growing out of control. Hasn't been pruned, a bit like my own jasmine out the front. So I haven't cut any off this yet. I might do that in a minute. So I don't want it to be neat or symmetrical at all, because that's not how nature grows. So because this one's coming up this side, I think I might bring it back down over here. Kind of like, let's have a look, what am I going to do? Maybe just like that for now, or is this one going to go all the way over? Let's have a look. What if I do this through here? Sorry, that's just the doors upstairs opening and closing. And again, I want it to be big and busy and, you know, generally ridiculous. Alright, so what if I do that? Cut him here. Let's just see, how does that look? It looks a bit balanced up there for me, but I can glue this bit like that. Okay, that'll work, I think. So this little glue is permanent or repositionable. If you want it permanent, you literally use it and stick it down. And if you want it to be repositionable, you put the glue on, let the glue dry, and then you can use it to be repositionable. So I haven't used this glue before, it's new to me. So this will be a good test, because as you can see, lots of different surfaces here for it to try and deal with. I'm using quite generous blobs. I've got my little sticky down thing to hold it in place. So I'm loving doing this project so far. I've been frustrated waiting for things to dry, So I've been cleaning in the meantime, and would you believe, I don't know what it is with my life and water, because we flooded earlier this year down here, at Easter time, when we had the remnants of Cyclone Alfred, I think, was coming through. We flooded at Easter time, and then I've flooded my laundry a couple of times accidentally, which is the room next to me here, and that ended up with water all through the floor of my sewing room. After that happened last time, we pulled out all of the boxes that need to be in storage and stored them in the little cupboard at the end of my sewing room, which is under our bathroom. So, of course, yesterday someone flooded the bathroom sink, and all of my boxes of photos were completely full of water, but we have actually managed to save them, would you believe? Thankfully, we noticed quite quickly what was happening, and so I've basically spent 24 hours laying thousands of photos between layers of chucks to save them. I mean, all of my children's photos, all of my dad's photos from when he was a child, so like we just had to do what we needed to do to save them. So, which I think we've done pretty well. But you know, I would have far rather be down here doing this. All right, how does that look? So I'm just going to do another bit of glue here. Oops, where do I want him? Just there. And I'm going to use some pots that I've pulled out of a tapestry book that I picked up at Vinnie's. They're going to be either side of my gate here. So I might just do, go down there, you. I lifted it up too much. Just need to hold that for a 10 count. So yes, I could have spent New Year's Eve doing something far more fun, but we fixed it, you know, well, we saved them, so that was the main thing. I have lost quite a few. I had a whole heap of beautiful old women's day from like 1940s, 1950s. They all got soaked. I saved 2, but the rest were just too far gone, which is pretty devastating. I should have used them instead of saving them in a box, but the photos are okay. So every surface upstairs was covered with layers of chucks and layers of photos. Alright, so this is just about ready to take my sticky enduva off. Let's have a look. Oh yes, it's busy and ridiculous. I love it. So the next thing I've got is I've got this green. How much is too much? I'm probably the wrong person to ask, don't you think? So I'm just deciding whether I want some more green through it, maybe even just a little bit, like a kind of, you know, came from this side as well. Maybe just here. It's just not quite dry on the glue side. That looks good. What do you think? Perfect. More glue. I'm going to go through all this glue in one go, I think, at this rate, but that's all right. This is a significant part of my design. This is the cover for the actual book, my actual junk journal. Stay there, you. And this glue dries clear, so you won't see what's happening. So I might stick these guys. I might turn this over very carefully and put a big blob here on the top. I think that's as good a place as any. Just counting to 10 and letting it stick on. I'm just spinning my little tool so it doesn't actually get stuck. And then that's hanging down. I quite like that. I might just do another blob on that blob, and then it's got a textile to stick to rather than the cardboard. So these are all made out of a book cover that I used, and I used it because I wanted had like a linen. Here's the rest of it. It had like a fabric cover, and when I painted it for the picket fences, I wanted to have that texture, which has come up really well. Okay, let's just stick you on there. Oh, look at that little sucker. Overgrown, but, you know, very cottagey. Not abandoned. We're not looking for abandoned. We're looking for cottage and soft and beautiful. All right. So what I had planned, let me just pull him in. There's my little gate. I found these. Look at these. Oh, so I'll be using those. These are a heap of stamps that I have with mainly roses on them. Put all them back in now. But I'm going to put my pots on next. So these have been cut out of just a needlepoint book, which you can generally pick up at op shops, really good prices. So check them out because you can generally cut some fabulous bits. I used these to cut up sandpaper before. They're not great. usually they're cheap as chips because they're pretty outdated and old. This one has come from, let me show you, here, sorry. I've cut them out of here. So this is just from a book, and yes, it's a glossy book, but it's very easy just to do a bit of sandpapering and get the glossy part off. And just slide them back under. I tidied up yesterday so that I feel like I'm remotely in control. So I have a whole heap of things ready to go. What I probably should have bought was some foam tape, but these are going to go here, my pots, like that, at the entrance of my, I need to stick that bit down here, you. That should stop it. What do you think? So now I'm just coming up with a way, and all of this is going to be trial and error to see if I can actually get my ideas to work with the materials that I have. So the first part, we've got 2 weeks of Through the Garden Gate. So I'm going to do a journal version for a week, and then I'm going to do a slow stitch version, which is going to be a big slow stitched piece. So I should come out of this with 2 beautiful works. That's the plan. Anywho, so this and this, again, I'm just going to glue that down just to make my life a bit easier. This glue is pretty good, but geez, you don't get a lot of it. I'm already using quite a bit. So obviously I want my gate to open. So these pots, that's going to have to be, I didn't really think about that. Let me have a look. I have to cut, maybe this one goes here. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to put him here like this. Okay, yeah. So before I do that, let's just trim that so that my gate opens. And this guy has come out. Get back in there. I need to be a bit more patient, don't I? Let's zoom you in a bit. Sorry, we're a bit far away. There we go. So I'm literally just blobbing glue and pushing it all down. And then this will go behind the pot as if it's coming out of the pot or the ground, or we're not really sure. Don't ask too many questions. So because now this is single layer, so I've just got glue on my fingers, I need to bulk it up a bit so that it actually stays flat. I do have some packaging that I have knit. For a beautiful parcel that came from the UK, some railway ephemera for me. So just some of this. I'm literally just going to glue. Actually, I want a flat bit, not a bit with the bend. I'm literally just going to cut a bit off this box, can you see, to glue both of my pots onto so that they are a bit chunkier, and so that when they sit down on top of everything else, they're flat. So I don't need super duper special glue for that. I'm going to use my glue stick. Good old UHT glue stick. There you go, on there. So squidge those on there. Wait 0 seconds. And I've done a little bit of inking on these, and I have used some sandpaper and just a gentle sand across the front of the image just to get rid of that gloss from the glossy paper. The good thing about the glossy paper is it's good quality, like it's thick, so it can handle a bit of paint and a bit of stuff, but obviously, let me just grab my little sanding thing, just to do this again. So my goal with this is just to have fun, it's just whimsy. This is a little cottage based loosely on my little railway cottage that I lived in, but you know, going back in time and in a time where it was an actual railway cottage. There we go, that works there. So the other thing I'm going to do is pop a little bit of cardboard in behind, like just to even it up. I'll do a few of those. So if you can see, if I could put my pot there, that's the wrong, because of the height of this. I'm just literally going to put, let me just figure him out. That's going to go there. I'm just going to draw around that with my pencil. And cut just inside that line. And you won't see that, I've just cut inside it, so that's going to actually just make that fit a lot better. Just check where it needs to go. And he goes. So what I'm going to do is pop a little bit of glue on the back of this and then put it in place, and it should stick where I need it to be, if you know what I mean. I want him to be a bit further over so it opens there. Right, there he is, and he doesn't stick out at all, so that looks good. Little tiny bit sticking out there. I'm going to draw a line and then glue him really well. Awesome. So this pot is going to live, except I've just made that move, there, like that. I think if I actually just cut this little bit off, I can get him a lot closer. Sorry, here we go. See, now my gate will open, I can get him a bit higher. That works better. Okay, I'm going to try this Elmer's glue for this guy. Oh, let me just see, I'm going to put him here. And again, it dries clear. I'm hoping that it doesn't scooch all out the side. Let's pop him down there. And then my gate opens. My pot's happy. I'm going to set my glue on there for a minute while we do the other side. So this side, the gate is going to open there. So I need him to kind of be up there. Again, I'm going to have a bit of liberty at the bottom and take him off. And then my gate should still open. Again, I'm going to put a piece underneath. For some reason that one looks higher, don't you think? That's interesting. I might have to double that one up. Let's just do this. Alright, so I want him to be there, so I can still open my gate. I might just bring the whole thing down just so he's closer to the gate than he is now, because it just wasn't centered enough for me. Let's have a look what that looks like. Does that look alright? I might need to just come down here a little bit more. Alright, that's better. Artistic license, hey. So he's going to go up there like that. So again, I'm just going to draw around the bottom of this, cut him out, just inside the line so it's a bit smaller. And I'm going to cover this bit with glue this time. I've got a better plan. And I'm going to pop him under here. And again, see, it's a little bit bigger. To there. Just going to draw a line there so I know where to put his bottom. Let's stick some glue on, hey? what fun. Oh, waiting's the worst. It is the worst. So my 2 pots are on. My gate is good. It's working. It opens. I need to get some more rusty or a bit darker going on these hinges. Let me just see, are you stuck on? Oh, so then my gate opens. No worries at all. Excellent. So that is the first part of my through the garden gate. I'm going to do a very quick clean up because that's my New Year's resolution. That's it. Clean him up. Pencils and scissors away. Okay, so the next part is going to be figuring out how it attaches. So this is the cover of my book. Let's zoom you out again so you can see the whole thing. This is the cover of my Through the Garden Gate. Goes like that. Let me just move some stuff out of the way. So here goes on the front like this, and then you can imagine that this is what you see when you arrive at the railway cottage. You see this beautiful little garden gate with all this ridiculous stuff growing. The pots are ready to go. I haven't decided whether I'm going to, I probably will, stick some roses and stuff. I'm going to let this all dry first. So you go through the garden gate. There's your stepping stones, which is going to take you further into railway cottage garden. So for this bit, I might have to just trim a little bit off there. This whole thing is going to lift. Obviously this opens, but this whole thing is going to lift so that when you open it, you are in the railway cottage garden. I've got a few little screws there to chuff off with some good pliers. So this little bit I'm going to pop over here to dry. Now we're going to have a look at the railway cottage garden. So this is all cottage garden. This is what you're going to come into. So this is where we can go a bit crazy, as opposed to how sensible I normally am. I'm going to use some of these beautiful old rose cigarettes cards. So think of a cottage garden colours. To me they're pinks and blues and soft whites. A little bit of yellow. Just a little bit. I've got lots of yellow in the background, so I probably won't add any more yellow. These beautiful cards. So I've got some of these. Let's just grab some things out that I know I want to use. Let's start with those. Then I have some beautiful textiles that I have tea-dyed here. And look at them. So I'm going to just imagine you've walked in and this is just overflowing with beautiful cottage plants and all of the gorgeous things. Oop, is it going up that way? And again, I want this to just look like it has evolved over, like cottage gardens do, where they all just blend into each other. This little guy is gorgeous, although I might have to cut him into a few bits so he doesn't roll up on me. So the other things that I have cut to use so far, I have more of these images from one of the textile books. I have this beautiful card. Look at that. And these are genuine things that I'm using, and that's okay. You know what? They've been sitting in drawers. Let's get them out and use them because they're beautiful. I have this magnificent rose, which will probably be, is he too big? Let's try it. So this is just going to be layering goodies. I pulled this one out to tea dye, but I'm going to use this for my V in my ABC book for my little granddaughter, for Violet. Mum came up with a good suggestion because I couldn't think of anything that I wanted to do. I certainly do want to do vase or van. Alrighty, so here's you. How gorgeous is this? I imagine walking in here and you can hear the bees and you can hear the railway line behind, and I just have visions of a slower time. I have this. Let me have a look. I've got this piece. And look at this trim. I picked this up in Mulaney at that beautiful shop in Mulaney. Look at that. So I'm not sure. I'm going to definitely use some of that here. And I have these, which I've tea dyed. And then these are the other ones that I've picked out of the book. So I'm going to use, that one's a bit orange. Let's have a look at these ones. Oh, I do have a tree sort of on there. Could there be a tree? Possibly. So I'm going to trim these a little bit more. And not fussy cutting, as in fussy cutting, but just doing that basically. Like that. So this is as I said, I think it's a book I picked up for a couple of dollars at an op shop. And it's actually Kay Fassett's, all his whole of his work in here, which is stunning. And very, this particular book is all very floral, and there's a beautiful tiger in here actually. I am partial to a good tiger. So I wonder if it might be too big. I do love this rose. So how is this going to look? Let's just pop our, grab him here. Let's layer him up. Lots of things. I don't like that. Get rid of that. Let's put you under here. You there like that. Let's put that one there. I need to trim him a bit more. I don't know what I did with the ones that I trimmed. There's another blue one. I love these blue ones. Look how gorgeous they are. So they could be down here like that. I feel like I need more blue ones up here, probably. So in my garden, in my Railway Cottage design, this thing goes into a potager here, and then the rest goes into the kitchen, where the next little adventure will be. We go in and look at the kitchen pantry papers. And let's have a look at this beautiful one. Look at that. Let's cut some of that off. Look at that. That just screams. And look at that. Could I use that as an arch somewhere? I actually have one with an arch on it. Oh, I forgot about these ones. Look, I need you here. Let's put you there. Forgot about those, and I'm going to use, this is one of my all-time favourite fabrics. It came from my cousin's wife, Lurleen's auntie. So Lurl's about 72, so it's really old and stunning. But this is the top of the curtain, and I'm actually going to use that here as well. I'm going to hang it off the side somehow. So that's there ready to use. I have some beautiful, no, I don't need to use that, I don't think. Now, can I use any of these flowers? These are they the smallest flowers I have? I need to have a bit of a hunt around. Oh, this is the one I'm looking for. Because in my plan, I have a garden arch that leads off to the potager, so that's going to go in for sure. So let's do that now, actually, before I get carried away. So I'm thinking that I'm going to cut it. Just cut it, hey, don't overthink it. I should get my fabric scissors. Alright, here we go. So I'm actually just going to cut that all the way down and stop trying to be dainty about it. Oh, look at that. So I'm thinking that can go at the top, up here like this. I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to cut this off. But this itself is going to tuck under here, like that. Oh, look at that, it's perfect. That one's going to go there. this guy's going to, I think I probably need to cut the blue bit off the top of this, like this. Let me just get him under there. And then the blue bit can have his own bit of excitement. Can have his own moment. Probably down the front here somewhere, like that. What do you think? The cottage gardens are us. So I'm not sure for these cards whether I want to. I think they're very similar, so can I find one that's different? So I've got a red, I mean that one's quite beautiful, isn't it? Oh, that one's gorgeous. Let's pick a couple. Is that the one I just had? So I'm looking for a really pale, well maybe I will put a yellow because I've lost a lot of the yellow. Oh, background, so ignore my phone. No, I think I want pink. I might put the yellow up there. Oh, here we go, that looks good. No. Let's go back, here we go, that's a pretty one, that's different. So I love the arch, that's working really well for me. I want to just figure out what I'm going to do across the top here. Oh, I was going to cut some of this one, wasn't I? Let's cut some of this guy. He might need to be up the top. I really like this type of linen. When they're made on this one, it just holds the most beautiful texture. It really does. So with this, I'm not trying to be, I mean, it's representative, but it's not to scale. It's just fun. And it's just whimsy, and I just want it to be fun to do. So some of the flowers are big, some are little, and that's just how it's going to be. So I might just put this whole piece across the top. So imagine that's going to close off. Right. So I'm going to come in here. Like that. Okay, a bit more off here. Okay, that's going to go sort of around the corner like that. Then the bit that I cut off, that's the bit that I cut off. Let's just have a look where I want him. What did I have up there? Was it another one of those? I don't think I want that there. I'll keep this because I think I quite like the idea of that as an arch. What I haven't used is a bit of trim or anything like that. Let's see, do I want one of these fabulous roses from on here? You know I do, and you know I want the brown one, but where's that going to go? Is it going to go over the top? Let's see if I do this. That guy can go like that. Oh, what do you think? A bit crazy? Let's get our top, which is drying. Let's get our gate to go over the top. Wow. So I've got a gap up here. Now I'm never going to have a gap, right? And again, all of this is going to be glued, and probably some of these, I mean, they're already distressed, but these will be distressed. I don't need any more blue flowers there. I might use this red rose though, up in this top corner. Let's just see. Isn't this stunning? If you go to Mulaney, there is a shop in the main street, and she has some beautiful, a lot of Indian cottons, but she's got some fabulous trims. And I think, like, this wasn't cheap, but it's, you know, absolutely worth what I paid for. I think it was maybe $15 a metre, something like that. And I just got a metre, which I will probably regret because I love it. There we go. So if I put this one here, that one there. So I will trim a little bit just so it follows the shape of my ruse. Just like that. That There's my arch through to the next bit. Oh, perfect. So that is the beginnings of the Railway Cottage garden. What a mess. I love it. Let's just see where I'm up to. I'm just going to move some things so that I can see what I've forgotten. Well, what I haven't included, I haven't used any of these, but they're cream. But you know what? They might be part of my layering. Let's just see if they work. Again, when I get any sorts of trim or lace or anything, I tend to just immediately tea dye half, because then it gives me lots of options. They look so different tea dyed. There we go. Yeah, that is nice. And quite often you can use a tea dyed and a non-tea dyed bit of trim in the same piece, and you don't even realise they're the same thing. So that's there. I might put you under here, like that. This little guy's a bit lost. Let's turn him that way. You can go under there. Can hardly walk across the path. It's so busy. That's pretty much what my garden's like. It's my dream gardens. I like that. Where does this need to be? Does it need to be here with two of them? I think so. So that is, I think, I'm going to pack up some things so that I don't lose everything. I have piles of things going. I haven't used any needle points, but I think I'm good. I don't know that I need to. I have this one, but I may cut out that rose and put it on. Let me just tuck that under my armpit and think about it. Just putting fabric away. Do I want another? Sorry. Do I want another bit of you? Yes, I do. Hang on. More is more, right? You know this. Look, it's a love heart. That was not deliberate. And I love this. Look how it's worn through. Actually, I don't want a love heart. Let's do that. Perfect. Let me just see down here. Alright, so scraps of bits are going there. And then I didn't end up using any of you. You might be perfect down here. So this has been through my dryer once I tea dyed it, which is why it's gone a bit crinkly, but that's actually what I was trying to achieve. So he's going to go here, like that. And then this beautiful hollyhock, or whatever it is. Is that what it is? Which side? That side. And go these little yellow flowers. I'll give them their own thing. And I'm not ironing them because I want them to be all sticky uppy and curved. Yeah. And then, there it is. Is that the right side? Yes. That's the right side. So I'm actually just going to cut him. So he just has his own little thing going on, and he's just going to stick up here. Just like that. Done. I'm going to stop now because you could just keep going forever. So I'm going to very carefully glue all of this down. I'm going to put this down, have a quick drink, and consider my options for glue. So just looking through that, I'm thinking about whether, do I want to cut these roses around? Let's just do one and see. But before I do that, I'm going to be true to my word this year, because otherwise I get to a point where I actually can't find anything. Particularly as I have two workstations on the go at the moment. So I'm going to fold them quickly, pop them there. This is scraps. That's for a different project. All right, paper's away. Sorry, just going to reach under there, and then my trims can go up there. That's heaps better, you think? And then these are all folded. Can go up to the palm. All right, I've got a bit more space. So let's trim this guy and see what we think. And again, not fussy cutting him at all, just literally that. Bit of sandpaper. I mean, he's already aged, but that edge isn't aged because that wasn't the edge. So I'm just going to grab my tea dye ink. Good old tea dye. Oh, and every time I use this one, look, it's all over my lid. So I don't know what happened to it in the mail. Just literally do a little bit, and then I'm going to use a bit of fabric just to rub that in a bit. Just to take a bit of it off. And see how it's pointy there? I don't like pointy. Put the sand in. And I might actually just bend him a bit so that he looks a bit more loved. There we go. So he's going to go under there. Oh yeah, that's better. Let's do the same to this guy. I'm not going to save that bud, but I'm going to save this one. Don't like pointy though. Let's get rid of the points. I might just come along up here. Awesome. I don't need to put more on there, that's enough. And where's my little bit of fabric gone that I use just to blend it on. Give him a bit of a squeeze and a squish. Bit of sand. Look, see, I love how the creases are formed. Yeah, there we go, that's great. Not going to save that one, life's too short to spend too much time. Right, quicksand. You see, this is really simple and it's not using a whole heap of expensive things. These are things from my stash. And these were in a picture frame that hasn't been on the wall forever, so it's time to use them. See how that's cracking that? Where is he? Up here somewhere. Is he there? Yeah, he's there. I'm going to put him there now. And I had, oh yeah, wrong side. Let's put him over here. I think he was there. There we go. My yellow one next. Should pay more attention when I pulled him out. Which way does this go? That way. I'm just going to cut loosely around that one because it's a bit wonky. Again, get rid of the corners. The ink on there. Rub it in. Give him a bend through the middle of the rose. And he was up here. It's a bit lost there because you don't really see all of him. If I put him here like that, there we go. Oh, now these guys, I can't be dealing with that. So I'm just literally going to, I just need to put that on a bit of, I have a sandpaper thing, hold on, I'll show you. This was made by my dad. It's just a piece of sandpaper stuck on here, and I'm not going to move that. Literally just put whatever it is you're working on it and it holds it in place. Great for fussy cutting fabrics. So I'm just taking the shine off is all I'm trying to do. That one, I'm going to do one at a time so that I remember where they go. The ink. Again, a bit more ink on this one, probs, than I have on the other one. Dirty it up a bit. I'm going to squitch him up. He's going to go in there. And this little guy, again, take the shine off him. And some ink. These little daubers are just from the reject shop, I think. Maybe Crazy Clark's or whatever it's called now, King Kong. That's what we have here. All right, clean. And we're going to glue. Let's glue within an inch of our lives. Okay. I don't know why people say my work is busy. Just a little bit. So these are my stepping stones. I'm just going to have a bit of a fiddle so everything is where it needs to be again. Now he needs to come down because I want to see that you can walk across to the stay there you to that. That goes up there. Done. Alright, let me have a think about this. I think what I'm going to do is start by gluing a few pieces here and there and then working backwards, if you know what I mean. It doesn't matter if it's a bit bigger than the page because you know this is the cover and it can stick out as much as it wants. So I'm using this glue again. I'm going to be quite liberal and just give myself some architectural gluing, and then I'll go back and do the more, you know, the finer gluing a bit later. So I'm going to start there. I'm going to pop you there. This glue seems to be quite effective. So I'm doing a bit of a sneaky shove it under glue style, which won't be enough on its own, but it'll be enough for me to then be able to manipulate some things. So, and this happens is if you're going to glue something to something, you have to make sure it's glued to the thing under, if you know what I mean. So this is going to be glued to the top of that, so I needed to get the glue right up underneath. That's good. And put some glue in here. See what I could do here, I'm just going to cut off, now that I've glued it, of course, some of that. So I can see my yellow rose a bit better. There we go, that's better. Stay there, you. So just literally starting at the top, sorry main screen, starting at the top and working down. So this is then going to have to sit for a bit. Put him like that under there. Sticking to my fingers, not to the backing. Let's just count to 10. And I think this guy needs to be more that way then. Yep, there you go, that's good. So there's some folds happening in the fabric, which I'm not going to worry about too much. I'm quite happy for the folds to stay. Okay, if I count to 10 it works, so I just need to be patient. This little guy, I've got sticky fingers, needs to be facing, does he go that way? That way. So he needs to just be there. So in my garden path, I'm actually going to, the shop's not open today, but one of the cheap shops actually got the kind of green flocked stuff that makes it look like moss. So when it opens tomorrow, I'm going to go and grab some of that, and then I'll be putting some of that between these pavers, so those edges won't look as standouty as they do now. Alright, so this one, I'm going to go here. What fun. Stay there, you. First day of the new year today. Couldn't think of it any better way to spend it than playing in my room with ridiculous things. I'm just going to put some glue under here. And then, oops, put this one in place with my tool that has no name. Actually, let's pop him up there. So turn this way a bit. Much. think I'll use all this glue just doing this. Oops, I'm just going to have to stop and wipe my hands because I've got more glue on my fingers than I have. We're nearly there. We're up to 50 minutes. Thanks for hanging in with me if you're still here. So I think I want him to be there. Yeah, so let's go under here. Which way do you go? What do you reckon? That way? Let's just go that way. Him. And so you can go just under, so that one's on top. And I get people say all the time, you do all that work in the background and then it gets lost. But no, it contributes. I know it's there. It actually sets the scene and helps me create what's next. Who wants to be trying to fill in gaps? Okay, which way do you want to go? That way. Thank you. My husband's just delivering a sandwich. Thank you, darling. Which way is that going to go? I think I want it that way now. There we go. Let's stick him on. Count to 10. Okay, that's one side glued. That was pretty easy. And again, I'm not trying to have it flat. I definitely don't want it to be flat. So I'm just going to pop this under here. Because like I said, I can't glue things on top if the things underneath aren't glued to the backing. Alright, stick him there. Be patient. Alright, now my roses. I'm actually going to come down here and start because I seem to be just pushing everything down. You know what I mean? As I go. Let's put you there. And put this big guy in the back. And that gives me the option then to do some layers. My duva's dirty. Oh. So this guy's going to go there and that one on top. Looking for interest by having different layers. And you know, a traditional cottage garden is all about things going in different directions and things growing over the top of each other. Count to 10. Stop being impatient. 4, 5, 6. Alright, so let's just have a play here. Kind of moved everything. In here like that. So what did you do for New Year's? We did babysitting, which was wonderful. Not for long, just a little bit of time. My daughter and her lovely partner went out for a couple of hours, which was delightful. Our little Minnie is just well, she's been delightful since she was born, but just so interactive and just such a joy. Such a joy. I can't think of any better way to spend New Year's than looking after her. Oh, that's good. Okay, so I'm going to pop. You are down here. Let's have a look. Sorry, my fingers are stuck together. I feel like I need something up there. But again, this is layer one, you know how that works. just going to cut the bottom of that so I don't have to stick so much under. Oh. Just going to use the back of that. There we go. Wipe some of that off. Glue's working very well now. It's sticking me together. Should I want that on top? I want him here actually, like that. And then I'll put this little guy under here where I just was. Oh no, I don't, because see how there's one there? That doesn't work. It needs to pop up this way. Maybe even over here. I'm just going to glue a little bit of that. I kind of haven't pulled it tight so that it still has some, you know, sticky up bits. And I haven't used any stamps yet. I'll go in and do them next once this is all dry. So, look at me. Been gardening yesterday, so the nails are gone for the time being. I'm going to have to stop and do my hands again. So no nails for a while. That's right. Got a lot of gardening to do in the next couple of weeks. You know, you put something off and then you do it and think, why didn't I just start this? It took no time. What have I got left here? I feel like I'm missing something here. Should I put him there? I think so. And then I've just got, oh, there's my blue that I haven't put back on. No, give me a second, count to 10. I have this guy. It's a bit random, I might just cut him with these paper scissors. Here under there, so I'll put some glue under there while I'm at it so that all sticks. And I've got this little gappy here that's just asking for something, isn't it? What does it need or does it not? Let's just leave it for the time being. Okay, and that is everything glued in place, enough for me to, I probably used about half of that, which wasn't cheap, it was about $9, but it means that nothing's going to move, so it's worth it. And I won't need to use it for a lot of the book, just for that particular bit. So that is my cottage garden. When you walk in, this is what you see. So let's just sit my gate over the top. Oh, look at that, I love it. So you're walking through the cottage garden and there's a path, and then we're going to open the whole thing and off you go. I haven't decided if I'm going to put anything on the back here yet. You can see that this is literally 1 millimeter too big. So I'm going to get my little scissors. Actually, you know what, I'm going to sand that. I don't trust myself to try and cut that. I think sanding, I'll just take it so it doesn't put dust all over my glue that's wet. Let's try it now. Yeah, that's better. Literally just sand it off a mill. So that is through the garden gate, stage 1. So we're finished up to that point. I'm loving it so far. I hope you're loving it too. Hope you can see my vision. And I'd love you to join in and create your own. Thanks so much for popping in, and I'll see you soon.